You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Although Hidden Traps is not officially released until August 1st, you can pre-order your paperback or ebook copy now from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Welcome to Southern Sisters Radio, the show for Southern women and the men who adore them. Join us as we celebrate life from a Southern point of view. Here's your host, author, founder of Southern Sisters Home, and true Southern sister, Jenny McCormick Earhart.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to the Southern Sisters Radio program. It is winter.
Yes, it is. Look outside, folks.
Yeah, I've been waiting to say that. Not just because it's after December, what was the first day of winter? December 21st?
Something like that.
Yeah, we're into January now, folks. Happy New Year.
Yes.
Happy 2017. But I'm making my announcement that it is officially winter because it sure feels like it outside.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Here we are in the South, and we got a snowstorm on the way. Now, some of us define snowstorms in different ways. When I lived in Alaska years ago, my father was a military officer, so we were stationed. We were stationed in Fairbanks, Alaska. Now, how they describe a storm is very different than how we Southerners would. Once you exceed about 2 feet of snow, then you start to have some issues. Down here, when we exceed 2 inches, we have major issues.
But that's the thing. Anyone who has grown up either as a Southern woman or a man who loves one, chance being, you know that down here in the South, underneath that white fluffy stuff is a nice hard layer of ice.
Exactly.
That's why we have issues.
Yeah,
down here.
and you don't have to tell us that twice. You know, once you've had if you've lived through any of these snow issues or the snow apocalypses that we've had here in the South, folks, you have every reason to be concerned and every reason to want to be nice and safe, right?
Absolutely.
Now, I had no trouble driving into the studio today, right? Nice clear roads. I zoomed right on down, right?
Yeah.
In fact, I have to tell you, Nate, this was hilarious. I was driving in the fast lane listening to Life in the Fast Lane by the Eagles.
There you go. How appropriate is that?
I was enjoying the song, then I realized, hey, that's kind of cool. I'm actually in the fast lane listening to the song. But no, I do. One of my memories of living in Alaska, though, was our dog. And when he would go out in the snow for his, how do you say that politely? Yes, his little potty breaks, right? It was so funny because the snow was so cold. The dogs don't want to stand in one spot for very long.
Yes.
It freezes their feet, right? So typically when they're out in the snow, they're moving around, right? They're walking around. This dog was a German short hair pointer. Short hair being the operative word.
Ooh.
Nothing with short hair should really be in Alaska. Not in Stay Warm. But he would go outside and he would... let's just say when he would lift his leg, the other three legs, you have to stand kind of still, and he wouldn't want to stand on the other three legs for very long. So he'd lift the right leg, then he'd real quick switch and lift the left leg, and then he'd lift the right one, and then he'd lift the left one. And it would go back and forth for, at least 30 seconds. And it was hilarious.
That sounds fun.
Anyway, so Dixie is bracing for the cold weather. My Australian Shepherd, I have warned her that it will be cold. She has a nice thick coat, though, so I think she'll be fine. And folks, do think of your pets, though, just as I think of my dog Dixie. And I'm sure all of my wonderful listeners love their pets. Many of them have dogs, cats, animals, whatever. Right?
Let them inside.
Bring them in.
Yeah.
Bring them in. It's just, it makes me sad to think of some of the animals that maybe people are not being attentive enough and are leaving them outside in this rough weather. But guys, we do have a little winter snowpocalypse. Although maybe I ought to be careful with the use of that word.
Hey, be careful, Jenny.
Yeah, I don't want to cause any undue worry. But it's always good to be prepared, and Southerners are, as a rule, I find, very prepared people.
Yes.
Right, we are. Now, winter storms can range, guys. They can range from a moderate snow over a few hours to a blizzard, right? With blinding wind-driven snow that lasts for several days. Some winter storms are large enough to affect several states, while others may only affect certain areas of your state. Now, many winter storms are accompanied by dangerously low temperatures and sometimes by strong winds, sleet, icing, and some freezing rain, which is what we are going to be experiencing here in the South this weekend. Now, regardless of the severity of the winter storm, you really should be prepared in order to remain safe during these events, okay? Let's think rationally. Let's not give the Yankees a reason to make fun of us. And that starts by knowing the difference. Now, there are different types of winter advisories, okay? The Winter Storm Outlook. Okay, that's number one. Winter storm outlook. That's when winter storm conditions are possible in the next 2 to 5 days. So that's when you're kind of looking out ahead of time, right? You're looking out. That's called a winter storm outlook. Now, a winter weather advisory, that's different. That's when winter weather conditions are expected to cause significant inconveniences and may be hazardous. So when caution is used, these situations should not be life-threatening.
Correct.
Okay,
that
so
generally happens here when we have a lot of wind and it's cold.
Exactly.
That's generally when they give us those here in Georgia.
Yeah, winter weather advisory, or as I like to call it, the don't do anything stupid advisory.
We should have one of those 365 days a year, personally.
Right. There are some people that just doesn't matter how many times you tell them.
They need that reminder.
Stay home. What, I need to put a coat on? Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
how 12. About yes. Now, a winter storm watch. A winter storm watch is when winter storm conditions are possible within the next 2 to 4 days. People in a watch area should review their winter storm plans and stay informed about weather conditions. Always a good idea. Now, the fourth and most serious, guys, is the winter storm warning. Okay?
That's what we have.
I think that's what we've got.
Right now.
Life-threatening, severe winter conditions have begun or will begin within 24 hours. People in a warning area should take precautions. Typically, one of the best ones is just a doggone it, stay home.
Stay home.
Stay home.
Absolutely.
Now, you would think that was obvious.
Well,
Mm.
unfortunately, the obvious ain't so obvious sometimes.
Not to some folks.
Some people.
Not some folks. But, guys, I know that our listeners would never be so,
Ignoramus,
no.
right?
Your word, not mine. I am not going to call anyone listening to us that, but I will say I have complete faith in our listeners to use their better judgment to protect your families and your pets.
Absolutely.
Right. Another good idea, guys, is to kind of keep your vehicle winterized. A good way to do this in the cold weather, even if you're not driving it, is to have a full tank of gas. Now, a full tank will keep the fuel line from freezing. Yep. So even though I'm not encouraging you to be out and be wandering around in your car, it is a good idea to go ahead and fill up that gas tank before you park it in your driveway.
Absolutely.
Right? Also, remember, maintaining your heating equipment and your chimneys. That's important by having them cleaned and inspected every year, okay? And also, how about this? If you're going to be away during cold weather, leave the heat on in your home and set it to a temperature no lower than about 55 degrees.
Yes.
Okay, because even with the cold outside, it's gonna get...
It'll get in your house, and you also have to remember you don't want your pipes to bust, especially if something like that happens. So you leave the heat on in the house to help prevent that.
It's absolutely important. And now, also, guys, you want to remember maybe to have a supply kit around, okay? So I would suggest definitely water for at least a 3-day supply. They typically say 1 gallon per person per day is appropriate for your household, and food, at least a 3-day supply of non-perishable, easy to prepare food, okay? Now, that does not mean we have to panic.
No.
And start knocking people out of the way at the grocery store. How much bread and milk are you really going to eat?
Yeah.
Okay, so no more. 3 days is sufficient, folks. Okay. Now remember this: if there should be power outages, and I did this the last time we had some issues with power, and it went out and it was freezing cold. Even though your refrigerator goes out, right? Your power goes out, you can still put your food in a cooler and pop it out on the back porch.
Exactly.
Because it's going to be freezing out there. It's going to stay nice and cold. So that's another good thing to remember. Keep a flashlight handy. How about a battery-powered or a hand-crank weather radio?
Yes.
Those are awesome.
Absolutely.
Aren't those great?
One.
Then you're not dependent upon the electricity to keep you connected. Always make sure you've got extra batteries around.
Your cell phone that now can't charge because exactly.
Now, I'm going to give a suggestion with the cell phone. Let's say you've got a family of 4 in your household, and let's say all 4 of you have cell phones, okay? When the power goes out and you're disconnected, basically, right, from the rest of the world, don't run the power down on all 4 of those cell phones. No. Maybe turn 3 of them off.
Yes.
And keep them, make sure they're all powered up before the storm, right? Then you power down 3 of them and just go through those phones one by one. That way you always have one that's available. When you're not using it, power it off.
And that's funny you say that. That's something that they actually include in a lot of these national emergency preparedness classes, is anyone who has a cell phone or other electronic device, take them and only leave one on at a time.
Excellent.
So look at you. You're ahead of the game.
I really was thinking I thought of that all by myself. I guess not. You know what I love though? Those of you that have fireplaces, I wish I had. I want one so badly. Have you seen at Cracker Barrel? They have like the iron kettles, and they're on a little swing arm, and they can cook in them, and they turn the swing arm, and it goes over the fire pit. Oh, I absolutely love that.
Great.
Oh, yeah. It's wonderful. And then also, guys, how about this? Keep your garage doors closed. Now, I would think this would be kind of obvious, but especially a lot of folks have water supply lines running through the garage, so that'll kind of help keep them a little bit warm. And how about this one, Nick? I think you'll like this. I don't know if you knew it. Open your kitchen and bathroom cabinet doors to allow the warmer air to circulate around the plumbing, okay? That might help your pipes not to freeze.
Yeah, because once they freeze and they bust, then when it unfreezes, you got a mess.
Oh, yeah. And folks, a good Southern sister is a prepared Southern sister, and I bet you guys are. It's going to be cold. Stay warm. We'll be right back.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Although Hidden Traps is not officially released until August 1st, you can pre-order your paperback or ebook copy now from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
This is Jenny Earhart with Southern Sisters Radio, and I'm your Southern sister. In case you didn't know, you can check us out every Sunday at 2 p.m. right here on KLRN. And I'd love to hear from you. Email me at radio@southernsistershome.com.
I really can't stay.
But baby, it's cold outside.
I've got to go away.
But baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has been
hoping that you
so
drop in.
Very nice.
I'll hold your hands, they're just like.
And welcome back to the Southern Sisters Radio program, the show for Southern women and the men who adore them. And baby, it's cold outside.
Yes, it is.
I got my boots on today, and I got my furry boot socks, and I got about 10 layers on.
You can actually wear the warm stuff now.
No.
And you can eat the warm stuff.
You
It's
can.
so appropriate.
It is so perfect for this time of year. And I don't know what it is about when it gets cold outside like this. We feel the need to nourish ourselves even more, a.k.a. eat too much.
Hibernation style. That's all right. It's okay.
And I do believe we can trace that back to some sort of survivalist thing, with the human race. Because to survive the cold weather, we need to have a little layer of fat on us, right?
Yeah, you gotta have a little bit extra going on.
Got to have a little bit of insulation going on, and I can help you with that today. This is my way of rationalizing the fact that I'm going to
rationalized it to me.
Now, my trip to the grocery store will be milk bread and Nutella. I could live on that stuff.
Oh,
but guys, even better than that, it is soup weather. Okay, you guys have to agree with me. I know my listeners love soup because we've talked about it before, and I've gotten some great emails and some great recipe ideas from some of my listeners in the past.
Nice.
And we are going to showcase 3 of my favorite soups today. Whip these up for your family. It'll make you very popular with them. I'm telling you now. And it'll warm you up inside and out and make your house smell amazing.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah. Soup weather. Here we go. My favorite tomato basil soup, which is a very popular soup. There are a number of different recipes out there for tomato soup or creamy tomato soup. This is a fabulous one. I'm probably going to make this one tonight. I've got everything I need in the house for it.
Go.
Guys, when you find canned tomatoes on sale, stock up. And they are the base for so many wonderful things, from tomato sauce to pizza sauce to I put them in meatloaf sometimes, and perfectly wonderful.
It's a versatile fruit.
It is. It is. Now,
right?
I am impressed with you,
it
Nick.
Is a fruit,
it
right?
is. It is indeed. Yeah. People don't think of it that way, but it's
It's a vegetable.
It's in the fruit
but they
category.
Say it's a fruit, whatever.
Tomato basil soup. It is yummy. And it's yummy, super yummy in my tomato basil soup. So here we go, guys. This is my favorite, a creamy tomato basil soup. You're going to start by dicing up 1 medium onion. You know, most good soups start with a good diced onion. And in a Dutch oven, what you want to do is melt about 6 tablespoons of butter. And you're going to add that chopped onion and cook it good over medium to medium-high heat until it's nice and soft. It starts to smell so wonderful, right? You're going to add 2 14.5-ounce cans of diced tomatoes. Now, if you want to have a little fun with that, you can get the fire-roasted tomatoes or just the regular diced ones, whatever suits your fancy. Okay, you can play around with that a little bit. Stir that, and then you're going to add 1 46-ounce bottle of tomato juice, just regular tomato juice. You don't need to get it spicy unless you want it. If you get it spicy, it's going to be a little too much, I think, in this soup, guys. Stick to the regular tomato juice. And next, you're going to add 4 tablespoons of sugar. Now, you may be saying to yourself, why sugar? Is that what you're saying there?
Yeah.
Okay, that is going to help cut the acidity of tomatoes. It's not going to make it necessarily sweet. It's going to take the edge off the acidity and make it amazing.
Didn't think about that.
Trust me on this one. You got it? Okay, then what you're going to do is you are going to add 2. I would suggest 2. 1 to 2. I tend towards 2 tablespoons of chicken base. Now, you can use bouillon, or there's a product I love that I get at the grocery store called Better Than Bouillon.
Yes.
And it's like a smooth paste. It's intensely flavored. It is utterly amazing. I use the beef. I use the chicken. Last night, I steamed some, I kind of simmered some English peas and some baby carrots, and I used the vegetable base in there, and it was out of this world. So for this recipe, though, the chicken is best. 2 tablespoons. Add a little black pepper, right? Now you're going to bring it almost to a boil, right? And then you're going to turn off the heat. All right. You want to add about a half a cup of sherry. Now, this is going to impart the most amazing flavor. You can go up to a cup on this, right? Or you can put a half a cup in the soup and a half a cup in your glass.
I was going to say, you mean a cup before the soup, right?
You know how I like to cook, Nick. Stir in then 1.5 cups of heavy cream. Here comes the creaminess, right? And then we finish it off with 1/4 of a cup of chopped fresh basil. Okay. Now, if you don't have the fresh, I certainly don't have it in my garden right now. You can get it at the store. You can use dried in a pinch. It's still delicious. Stir that in. Hello. It is just simmer it. The house smells great. Ladle that into some nice big soup bowls. Sometimes I'll even do a little dollop of sour cream on there, and then maybe sprinkle a little more fresh basil on top.
Ooh,
okay,
that sounds
and then
so good.
I would take like a thick slice of crusty French bread and dip that in it.
I'm sold.
Soup weather. How about chicken and barley soup? Now, this is probably my second favorite soup of the wintertime. It is so hearty and just almost therapeutic. If you have a cold, you want to eat this soup. Okay?
Better than the chicken noodle?
Well, it's the same principle. It's the same principle. It just warms you from the inside out. It's got that sort of that wonderful comforting chicken broth flavor. What you're going to do with this, guys, is you're going to heat about 1 tablespoon of oil in a large Dutch oven over medium-high heat. You got it? And then you're going to add 2 sliced carrots and 2 sliced celery stalks. Chop those up. Kind of thin, too, and drop those in there and saute those, right? And then 1 medium chopped onion. Once again, so now you've got your carrots, your celery, and your onion sauteing in the oil. 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/4 of a teaspoon of pepper. Now, what's going to make this so amazingly easy is I use a rotisserie chicken. Okay, so just debone and chop up a rotisserie chicken. You got white meat, dark meat, you got all of that going on. You got it? Now, what you're going to do with these vegetables that are simmering or sauteing in the oil is you're going to cook and stir them occasionally. They're going to get a little tender. It's going to take you about 4 to 6 minutes, right? Then you're going to add 10 cups of chicken broth, all right? 1 cup of barley, all right? So this is our chicken and barley soup. And then all of that wonderful chopped chicken. Put that right into the liquid, stir it all together, bring it to a boil. Then you're going to reduce the heat, cover it, and simmer it, all right? Probably about 30 to 40 minutes, and that barley will be nice and tender.
That sounds delicious.
You can have this any time of the year. You got a little one in your family that's got a little cold, feeling a little under the weather. That little one in my house might be my husband when he's not feeling well. He's a big fan of this soup.
Now, don't make fun of us. We get our man colds.
It just brings out the nurturing side of me. I want to take care of him when he's not feeling
ladies.
well.
It's man cold season, so get this one and remember it and prepare.
Right, absolutely. Do that. So ladle it into some big soup bowls. Maybe sprinkle it with a little flat leaf parsley over the top just to kind of brighten it up. Hello. Float some crackers in there.
Say, I'm feeling warmer inside just hearing about it.
Now, I say we kick it up just a little bit. Let's make it hot and spicy.
Ooh, okay, really warm you up.
We've been nice and wholesome with our chicken and barley soup. Now we're taking a walk on the wild side with our spicy corn chowder, guys. This is awesome. Now, remember, you can control the heat on a recipe like this.
Yes, you can.
Nick and I were discussing that earlier. I like it hot and spicy. He likes it less so.
A little bit more on the very mild side.
Okay. You don't mind a little kick, but just nothing overpowering.
I don't want my eyes to water.
Well, okay. You can control that with my spicy corn chowder. What you want to do here is in a small saucepan over medium heat, you're going to saute 4 slices of thick sliced bacon until crisp and brown. Okay, so we are off to a good start with this recipe. You're going to transfer the bacon to a paper towel, let it drain. Then what you want to be left with in your saucepan is about 4 tablespoons of the bacon grease left in the pan, okay? To that, you're going to add 1 medium chopped onion, right? And 1 medium chopped red pepper to the pan. Saute that until nice and tender, about 4 minutes, 5 minutes, right? Season it with a little salt and pepper to taste. Now, here comes the jalapeno. You're going to need 1 small jalapeno chopped and the seeds and the ribs removed. Now, that's like the membranes on the inside of the jalapeno. That's where all the heat is, guys. So if you take out the membranes and the seeds and chop it up, it's not going to be quite as hot. If you like the hot, well, throw it all in there. Okay?
You're crazy.
Then and then we're going to we've added the jalapeno, right? Now we're going to add 3 cloves of chopped garlic, and we're going to saute all that together for about 1 minute. Then you're going to stir in 1/4 of a cup of flour, all right, until it's thoroughly combined. You want to cook that flour. That's going to be your thickener. It's going to help the whole thing to kind of thicken up nicely. Cook it until it's basically it kind of loses that flour taste. Okay. It's gonna brown up just a little bit, not dark, but just want to blonde it up. Rather than darken it, blonde it up just a little bit, right?
Mean, yeah.
That doesn't mean make it ditzy. Okay. That's bad. I love my blonde Southern sisters. That was just a joke. Don't send me a nasty email. Okay, so now you are going to cook this for about a minute. Then you're going to stir in 4 cups of chicken stock or chicken broth, right? And 2 diced potatoes. I like the little light red potatoes, don't have to be real big. Just dice them up and simmer it for 10 minutes. The potatoes will start to become soft. All right. Then you're going to add 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. Hello. You're going to add 1 16-ounce package of frozen corn, about 1/4 of a teaspoon of cayenne, or a little more if you like it hot, and 1 bay leaf. Simmer it all together, guys, on the stove in your pot for 15 minutes. Then you're going to pour it into a serving bowl and garnish it with the reserved bacon. Hello.
Yes.
I think a little chopped cilantro might be nice on top of that also.
There you go. That sounds good.
It's not officially in the recipe, but just,
put it in there for some fun.
I think I'm allowed to just kind of throw a little something in there.
Why not?
Some of my best recipes have come about just of things I just thought of at the last minute.
There you go.
You can do the same, folks. So whip up some of these warm soups today. That's going to keep you warm inside and out. And we'll be right back.
Can't stay.
Oh, baby, don't hold out, baby.
But it's cold outside.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to the line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your website, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls? Start saving thousands in interest and fees and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
This is Jenny Earhart with Southern Sisters Radio, and I'm your Southern sister. In case you didn't know, you can check us out every Sunday at 2 p.m. right here on KLRN. And I'd love to hear from you. Email me at radio@southernsistershome.com. And welcome back to the Southern Sisters Radio program. I do love that song.
So peaceful.
So peaceful. And as we're talking about women today, you know, not necessarily steel magnolias, but if you live in the South, right, and you sort of adapted yourself to the Southern climate, the Southern atmosphere, the Southern sort of way of life, then you qualify as a steel magnolia as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
You do not have to have been born here.
And you better have watched the movie.
Have you seen the movie?
Yes, I have.
You have?
My mom loves it.
I love it, too. It just made me kind of think of this. We were doing a segment last week, guys, on 50 things that every woman should have by the time she's 50 years old. Or in my case, by the time I'm 52. I needed to give myself a little more time. You know, speaking of steel magnolias, for those of you that may know, I got married last year on New Year's Day, 2016. And my groom's cake, or I should say my husband's groom's cake, was a bleeding armadillo. Groom cake.
What?
Oh, yes, it was. I really should post a picture. You know, I'm going to post a picture of that on the website so folks can go see it.
What?
It was awesome. Well, if you've seen the movie, you understand that Shelby's husband's groom's cake, was a bleeding armadillo groom's cake. Yes, indeed.
That's right.
That's a great scene. That's a great scene in the movie. But it has a red velvet cake on the inside, gray icing, and it was in the shape of an armadillo. Very authentic, I will say. My baker did the scales and everything. And
awesome.
And we sort of reenacted at the reception, the scene that was originally between Shelby's mom and Shirley MacLaine, Weezer. They have a funny little interaction, shall we say, between the two of them that may or may not include some slightly inappropriate language, so I will not repeat it on the air, but it is a pricelessly funny scene, and my husband and my best friend sort of reenacted that scene.
Nice.
It was worth it. It was so worth it. But guys, we talked last week about the 50 things that women should have by 50, and there were just so many great things on the list, and we decided to kind of do part 2 this week.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of reflect on some of these thoughts. Some of these you may have done, some of these you may have, or you may not yet, and you may not even agree with all of them.
And that's okay.
I found one or two that I was like,
it's all right.
You know,
To each their own.
I agree. But by the time you're 50, I like this one, especially with the cold weather, you should have an outfit that feels like you are in a cocoon and safe from the world. It's usually fleece or flannel, a.k.a., in my opinion, a Snuggie. do you know what I'm talking about?
One, but your own kind of.
You
a
can
Snuggie,
have your
right?
own. Yeah. Now my daughter has one of these. It's pink, and she'll kind of cuddle up in it, and you can't even see any part of her. Right? She's completely covered with this thing. And I saw one online before Christmas. My son-in-law's a huge Star Wars fan. They had a Stormtrooper Snuggie. Oh, yeah. So you could you could kind of cover up in this thing and look like a stormtrooper. It was a little weird. That's nice is a nice thing to say. It's a little odd. Now, how about this, guys? By the time you're 50, you should have the ability to let go of the hurts from your childhood and embrace the fact that your parents did the best they could with the skills that they had. Mm-hmm. Now, very few of us had perfect parents, right? And if you are a parent yourself now, you understand that perfection is usually somewhat unattainable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, you might be practically perfect, like Mary Poppins was, but chances are you aren't 100% perfect. And so I think any of those little grudges we may have that we're hanging on to for maybe things that our parents did or did not do perfectly, right? It's time to let go of that.
It is.
By the time you're 50, right? You'll be a better person for it.
Yes.
How about this? By the time you're 50, you should have at least one secret that makes you smile.
That one.
Now, it can't be anything too bad, and it can't be anything too weird. Because if you're smiling about that, that ain't right. But you know what I'm talking about. It's a fun secret. Yes. Am I making you blush? Okay.
Nick I think blushing. I've got one too.
Oh, well. If we do, we don't admit to that. I'm talking about just that fun little secret maybe that when you think about it. You don't necessarily want to share it with anybody, but it brings a little smile to your face, right? There's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
How about this? A journal full of your deepest thoughts. Okay. Now, some people are journalers and some people are not. You know, I have one daughter who journals religiously. She's and that's very therapeutic for her, and it's just a real important habit. Yeah. She's in the habit of journaling, and that really kind of is what it comes down to. If you don't do it on a regular basis, chances are you're not going to do it.
Yeah.
More than likely not going to do it all. But I do. I like to journal. I do. How about this? By the time you're 50, ladies, you should have a person in your life that you can call at 4 a.m. because you're in a bind or just need to talk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that person that if you call them at that hour of the night, they're not going to say, why are you calling me this hour?
What are you doing calling me this hour?
What do you think you're doing?
Hey, what's wrong?
Right. And typically that is that kind of friendship, right? That kind of relationship is the result of many years of, cultivation and nurturing.
Being through some stuff together, for sure.
Exactly. And you know that you can call them in the middle of the night and it's not going to be a problem. How about this? The knowledge of what you are willing to accept and what you are not willing to accept in a relationship. Okay?
Absolutely.
Now, call it the snarkiness of old age. But I'm getting to the point, and Nick, you're so sweet and kind and wonderful that I don't know how less willing you are to accept certain things, but I know that at my age, there are just certain things I just don't put up with anymore.
Yeah, I would say I definitely have some of those of my own. It's just, that's a no-no.
Right. Right.
And you have to make those things clear. That's also important.
Up front. Yeah, we don't do this. Now, I will say that for a lot of women, and it's something that I do think that Southern women maybe grapple with a little bit because of just the way many Southern women, and myself included, are raised to be sort of the peacemakers, to kind of make it all work. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? To be kind and sweet. We were raised to be kind and sweet. And sometimes as we get older, that inclination to do so can get in the way of our own well-being.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So I do think it's important to understand what it is you are not willing to accept, right? How about this? Guys, you should have something that you do that's just for you and no one else. Okay? Could be standing in the pantry at 2 a.m. eating Nutella out of the jar.
Once again, you sound like you have some experience with that one,
I have no idea. I just pulled that out of the air. Maybe I've done it. Maybe I haven't.
Even if that means, ladies, going and getting your nails done or whatever,
exactly.
or if you just have a little vacation spot you can run away to for a day. But you got to have something.
You got to have that little thing that you do for you, and don't apologize for it, right?
No.
How about that? By the time you're 50, how about a piece of jewelry that has sentimental meaning to you? And chances are it may be that at this point in our lives, guys, we may have had relatives that have gone on before us that have passed things down to us, and those pieces become especially meaningful.
Yes.
Now, also, by the time you're 50, at least, I think maybe even sooner, an older woman in your life who embodies the traits that you want to develop in your old age.
Got to have that person you look up to in the sense of, like you said, mimicking. In
Exactly.
Sense, yeah.
You know, and I think, ladies, that's one of the greatest things that Southern women can do for other Southern women is to sort of model that behavior, sort of model the kind of woman that you want to be, even if you're not there yet. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
In terms of good qualities, you almost have, and people don't like this phrase. I do. Fake it till you make it, right? Let's say you're grappling with issues of your temper. Just fake being taller. Oh, Nick, is that you?
You're not supposed to mention.
Just
so I put my hand
it.
up so that the people listening didn't know. But yes,
right?
that is one of those things. You're absolutely right.
Mimic it. Just pretend that you're patient, and you might be surprised, right?
And it starts to grow on you, and you realize that you're changing your traits.
The sincerity may follow it. It may become authentic, right? Not just something that you're trying to do. How about this? Someone or something, by the time you're 50, ladies, someone or something in your life that you love with your whole heart. Okay? I think we both have got that, Nick, right? These apply to men, too. You know that, right?
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Except for the pink Snuggie. I don't want to see you in a pink Snuggie. It's not right. Now, by the time you're 50, guys, you will more than likely have a to-do list, and it's okay to have a to-do list that may not ever be completely checked off, right? Be bold. Put things. Sometimes I will put things on that to-do list that I want to do. I don't know if it's actually feasible that I'm going to get around to doing it, but by putting it on that list, I see it every day. You know what I'm saying?
Like go to space?
Like going... Yes, like going to space.
That was probably not on. It's on my list, but I'm just saying.
Well, you know, that's not a bad one. It's dream big,
exactly.
Right? Dream big. Oh, another thing. By the time you're 50, enough money to run away in case you have to. Now, don't take this the wrong way, ladies. I am not encouraging any sort of running away. What this really refers to is having a little something set aside for yourself.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Most of us may never find ourselves in a situation where we need to run away. But I always say it's better to be prepared.
Or maybe not run away, but if you need to get away, you can.
The massage fund.
Yeah, there you go.
The massage fund. The pedicure fund, right? Keep it in a mason jar under the bed if you have to, okay? Because you may need it one day. Guys, by the time you're 50, it'd be a good idea to have a purpose to rise out of bed every morning. Now, in Nick's case, he rises out of bed because he knows he's going to come to the studio and get to hang out with me.
Exactly.
Right?
Duh.
And same for you, Nick. That's why I come in here. Couldn't be better.
You're so sweet.
Thank you for that. By the time you're 50, guys, this is important. The ability to look in a mirror and love the ripples and bumps and wrinkles that stare back at you because you've earned every one of them over time. Don't be ashamed.
Especially if you're a mama or have,
This is true, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, this does not mean that all of us should be running around in midriff shirts.
No.
Let's not misinterpret my meaning here.
You've talked about that before.
We've covered that. That's a different segment, isn't it? How about this one? By the time you're 50, do you have a hobby that you can get lost in for hours? You know, for some of you, it may be reading.
Get one.
Yeah.
So worth it.
For me, it's working on this show, Nick, right?
Oh, thank you.
Oh, ladies, we're so happy that you've tuned in today, and the men who adore you that are listening also. We'll be right back with our Southern Narrative.
All writers are prone to becoming so attached to our characters and stories that we struggle to see why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing to full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, shaping stories into masterpieces that can stand the test of time. Editing services are provided for all genres and all age categories. Services range from critiques of the short story through to line edits of the full-length novel and copy editing for those preparing for publication. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites, as well as help with those book blurbs and promotional material. We won't abandon you to the masses. We want to celebrate with you in your successes. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services and prices, visit us at blackwolfeditorial.com.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls? Start saving thousands in interest and fees and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment, reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
Hey, KLRN radio family, this is Jenny Earhart. Check out the Southern Sisters radio show every Sunday at 2 p.m. right here on KLRN. Connect with me on Facebook at Southern Sisters Home with Jenny Earhart. You can also catch our Facebook Live videos, unedited and uncensored. Connect with me personally. Email me at radio@southernsistershome.com.
Welcome back to the Southern Sisters radio show. Now, with your Southern narrative, sharing stories from around the South. Here is your host, Jenny McCormick Earhart.
Room for Another by Maxine Roberts. When I awoke that morning in late June, I still couldn't believe what my husband, Mark, had suggested the night before. Take in Jason, a 12-year-old from his Little League baseball team, as a foster son? I knew Mark was a dedicated coach, but this was beyond dedication. I was already juggling life with 4 children ages 3 months to 13 and all their activities. I had just finished my teaching year, and our summer was already filling up with camps, lessons, and lots of baseball. Mark had coached our son's team to a perfect 14-0 season. Now he was priming the team for the Tournament of Champions. The players were at our home all day long, either practicing or trading cards, especially Jason, who lived on the block behind our house. In fact, Jason often acted as our summer wake-up call, as he was doing that June morning. "Is Coach here?" he asked as I peered out the door fastening my robe. I stared at him. Approaching 13, Jason looked me eye to eye, even though he was standing a step down. His thick blonde hair stuck out from under his backward baseball cap. He was the ecumenical dresser. Giants cap, A's shirt, Dodgers shorts. This was typical Jason, the people pleaser. He fidgeted with his glove. I wondered if Coach would want to throw me some grounders. It wasn't the first time a boy had come to our door asking for my husband. Mark often hit flies or grounders or shot hoops with a bunch of them, boys with absent or uninterested dads. I stifled a yawn. "Jason, it's 7 a.m. It's Saturday. We're just getting up." He shuffled and mumbled something, but I caught his expression the moment before he turned. In spite of his wanting to appear cool stance, his face echoed pain, and I knew why. His parents were separated, and his dad lived only an hour away but never called, never wrote, never visited. Jason was a troublemaker at school and had learning disabilities. Nonetheless, he was a gifted athlete, but he often missed practice, and on some days, even when his body was present, his mind didn't seem to be in the game at all. The night before, his mom had called Mark to say that Jason might not be able to fulfill his commitment to the team. She had pleaded guilty to a welfare fraud charge and was going to prison for an evaluation that could take as long as 90 days. She could then be sentenced for up to 3 years. She said she wanted to place Jason in a good home before county authorities took him away. I closed the door. Lord, I don't think I can handle another child. We don't have room in this house. And I guess I just don't have room in my heart for someone else's child. As I closed the door, I heard our 3-month-old's first stirrings. It wasn't that I didn't like kids. In fact, my life was surrounded by them. As a mom, elementary school teacher, and junior church leader. But late-night feedings had drained me physically, and I needed my summer recharge. My mind was made up as I nursed the baby. We had only a 3-bedroom house. The baby's crib was squished into a corner of my small office. This baby had been a later-in-life surprise that was wonderful, but a 5th child in our home? No way. An hour later, Mark and I sat quietly at the tile-topped kitchen counter for breakfast. The kids were sleeping still, and the baby was napping. My husband pushed scrambled eggs around on his plate. I crumbled my toast. "There's something I've never told you," he said. "When I was about Jason's age, my dad got into trouble, and I was put into a foster home." I hadn't known. He paused, swallowing. His father had been falsely accused of a crime, and the authorities broke up the family. They just came and picked us all up, Mark continued. The girls were put with families. We boys were put in a children's home. Only for 2 weeks, but it was the worst 2 weeks of my life until Dad was cleared and we all got to be home again together. Why on earth did you never tell me about this? I asked. There are some things you just don't want to remember, he said, much less talk about it. I felt humiliated that people said such terrible things about my father. But worse was the fear that I'd never see my mom and dad again. He stopped fiddling with his fork and looked up at me. His eyes were brimming with tears, and suddenly I could see him as a young boy, crew-cut hair, skinny, painfully shy, being led away by people he did not know to a place he'd never seen. I saw the hurt and embarrassment he held inside all those years. It was the same anguish I had seen earlier in Jason's eyes. I imagined Mark standing on a neighbor's front porch, wanting to ask if they'd take him in, wanting to ask but never getting the words out, shuffling his feet, mumbling something, never getting to the point. And some nice lady saying it was too early in the morning and closing the door. I put my hand on Mark's. It sometimes wasn't necessary to talk after 20 years of marriage. We just knew what the other was thinking. He wouldn't ask me again to take in Jason, wouldn't push me, make me do something I didn't feel I could do. But I knew then that Jason was an opportunity for Mark and for me to redeem the pain that Mark experienced as a boy. It was not just doing unto others. Anything we could do to help Jason would somehow help ease the hurt in Mark's own past. Okay, Lord, I'm willing to find a spot in my home and my heart for another if that's what you want. Please release in me the same love for Jason that Mark already feels. I've been wondering, I said, picking at crumbs on the counter. Do you think the attic room could be a bedroom? He smiled and nodded. I think it would work out fine. Jason lived with us for about 3 months. He brought many things with him. His computer, his sports posters, his mother's plants. But he also brought his willingness to do dishes and vacuum, his enthusiasm, and even better, his wild sense of humor, entertaining us many nights with his stand-up comedy routines. His mom came home in September, 2 days before his 13th birthday. I was glad that they could be together again, but his leaving left a void in my heart. Or maybe it's not a void. Maybe it's just room for another. Parenthood, A Trivial Pursuit by Jacqueline Lee Lindstrom. You no doubt have heard of Trivial Pursuit, the popular board game based on answering trivia questions. I've often thought that mothering and parenting is similar to such a game. It seems we spend so much of our time in a maze of trivia, fumbling through the daily minutiae of family living, never quite sure whether we're ahead of the game or not. With that in mind, I have devised my own trivia game for parents. The rules are simple. You'll start with 10 marbles and collect or deduct marbles as you play the game. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Square 1. You are awaiting the arrival of your firstborn child. If you look at your rapidly expanding waistline and say, as soon as the baby is born, I will be a size 6 again, deduct 2 marbles for wishful thinking. Square 2. It is 2 years later and your second child is soon to be born. To avoid sibling rivalry, you have prepared carefully for the event, spending quality time with your firstborn, giving him his own baby doll to feed, bathe, and cuddle. When the new baby comes home, his older brother is fine. But deduct 1 marble. It's the dog who's jealous. Square 3. Your number 1 son has just announced at the supper table that he is to be an oak tree in the school play and needs a costume by tomorrow morning. If you stay up until 3 a.m. making an imaginative and innovative costume, deduct 3 marbles for setting an impossible example for the rest of us. On the other hand, if you stick him into a brown paper bag with a hole for a head and arms and tape green leaves all over front and back, collect 5 marbles. You've just taken the rest of us off the hook. Square 4. The kids now number 3 and are all in school. You have discovered that mother is synonymous with taxi service. On a typical day, you drop the youngest off at her music lesson, then go with the boys to their Little League practice. Then back to pick up daughter and drop accumulated Little Leaguers off at their assorted homes. It's dinner on the fly because somebody has to be at choir practice at 7 p.m. It's now bedtime and you discover that you have an extra kid. But you don't panic. It's happened before and soon the phone will ring as another mother discovers she's missing one. Collect 5 marbles for endurance. Square 5. The little darlings that you tucked lovingly into bed for so many years suddenly treat you as though you've lost your brains in kindergarten. They are embarrassed to be seen with you. Guess what? You are the parent of teenagers, those strange creatures who think they are 8 feet tall and bulletproof. If you survive this age with your senses intact, collect 8 marbles for heroism under fire. Until then, always remember that you hold the ultimate weapon. You have the car keys. Square 6. You can tell your oldest child is home from college when you see the pile of dirty laundry in the front hall. If you take the clothes downstairs to sort, wash, and press as in old days, deduct 3 marbles and shame on you. If instead you take him by the hand and show him the room where the automatic washer and dryer have been housed since he was small, collect 5 marbles. Some of the most important things in life are not taught in colleges, you know. Square 7. The children, by some miracle, have grown into responsible adults. By chance, you overhear your now grown-up son telling the same bedtime stories to his firstborn that you so long ago told to him, and the tears fall silently down your cheeks. Don't despair. These are the pearls of parenting, and that is what the game is all about. Oh, hey, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this week on the Southern Sisters radio program. It is cold outside, right?
Yes,
Baby, it's cold outside. What you going to be doing while you're snuggled up at home? How about a little online shopping? That's what I think you should do. You know, the Southern Sisters website is there for you.
Absolutely.
Just go to southernsistershome.com. You can go shopping there. With promo code SISTERS, you'll get 30% off your entire order. Home linens. You got cookbooks. We got it all there.
Yeah, everything you need.
And send me an email. We love to hear from
Absolutely.
you. Radio at southernsistershome.com. And guess what else is happening this weekend?
What
yes.
is that?
Well, guys, today at 5 o'clock, you can tune in and hear my amazing producer, Nick Bean's new radio show called Holding Court. Oh, yes. Somehow I just think you're going to be fantastic at this.
I'm telling you, folks, she insisted that she do this for me. I didn't motivate it.
Come on, give us the 411, Nick. Folks, listen to this. You got to tune in later today.
Moderate political talk. Real common sense approach to the politics that have divided us so deeply these last few,
about that?
8 years-ish or so.
Let me ask you this. You got any special guests on your first show?
Just your husband, the longest-serving Republican in the State House.
His name is Earl
Earhart. Yes.
Yes, he is. Well, Nick, congratulations on the new show. Guys, tune in and listen to it at 5 o'clock today on AM 920. Have a wonderful week. Stay warm, and come meet me back here next Saturday.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-610-9050. That's 800-610-9050. 800-610-9050.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it. There to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Is debt beating you down? You need discipline. You need the Debt Ninja. If you've been caught in a financial trap and need to be set free, then you need the Debt Ninja. Want to stop those harassing collection calls, start saving thousands in interest and fees, and get out of debt fast? Then you need to call the Debt Ninja. The Debt Ninja will find the best companies across the country that will help you consolidate all your bills into one easy payment. reduce your payments by 30 to 50%, and get you out of debt fast. If you have unsecured debt of $10,000 or more, such as credit cards, loans, or medical bills, call the Debt Ninja for a free 15-minute consultation.
Call 800-826-1246. 800-826-1246. That's 800-826-1246. Call today.
The Debt Ninja.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
Hey, KLRN radio family, this is Jenny Earhart. Check out the Southern Sisters radio show every Sunday at 2 p.m. right here on KLRN. Connect with me on Facebook at Southern Sisters Home with Jenny Earhart. You can also catch our Facebook Live videos, unedited and uncensored. Connect with me personally. Email me at radio@southernsistershome.com.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.